Welcome back to our series on Boracay, covering our first visit since the island reopened after several months under lockdown in 2020. We're returning in the safest and most socially distanced way you can imagine, via private aircraft to Caticlan Airport and a private boat ride that takes us straight to one of the most secluded beachfronts and luxury properties on the island, the Shangri-La Resort and Spa Boracay.
Hey Dave, it's good to be back.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
This is the perfect way to greet each other now. No shaking hands.
Thank you. It's good to have you back.
Thank you. It's great to be back. Can't wait to see what's changed or what remains the same.
Unlike with previous visits, close contact and extended greetings with the GM and staff are no longer encouraged, and guests are quickly whisked in empty buggies straight to their quarters, though I couldn't help requesting for the scenic stop along the way.
All right, stop here. Stop. Wow. I just want to savor this view. This is the Boracay I remember. In fact, this is the Shangri-La I remember.
Happy to say, apart from the strictly enforced mask and distancing rules, it's still the lovely, sprawling property I always look forward to.
So I understand there's a new check-in procedure because of the social distancing policy, and that means you can only bring the guests to their doorstep and the guests are on their own.
I admit, I miss the more intimate welcome routine, the sweet voices unmuffled by masks and shields, and the personal tour around the room. But remember, you're not just protecting yourself here, but the staff too.
Okay, and all the check-in is done outdoors. And in the case of a villa, it's done at the terrace or at the balcony. The idea again is that you want to avoid being in interiors. You want to be outdoors and with ventilation.
After a few more safety checks and health declarations through QR code, you're on your own to explore your room. It's all contactless from here. A detailed video describes all the things that Shangri-La has done to keep your room clean and you safe during your stay here. And instead of a butler shadowing your every move, the resort's digital concierge app, Saba, works 24/7 for you.
Another QR code. A lot of these QR codes. And you can do everything here. Order food, request for amenities, schedule a therapy. It's all done electronically now.
It's a small price to pay to enjoy a holiday in paradise without worrying. And the tedious checks are quickly forgotten when faced with scenery like this.
Okay, with the check-in process done, I can finally remove my mask. I didn't realize how strict the Shangri-La would be with masks and face shields, but finally I can smell the Boracay air and enjoy this view. What a beautiful view. What a perfect location this Villa Canluran is.
Perched on a cliff overlooking the beach, the villa is perfect for isolating in luxury. With its own wading pool, garden, terrace, and extra spacious living and bedrooms that bring in the sun and the sea breeze. You could enjoy island life in your villa without ever leaving.
This is perfect. After spending so much time indoors because of the pandemic, it feels so great to enjoy the outdoors, especially facing a view like this one of the beach.
But with a vast expanse of lush gardens, forested slopes, swimming pools, shaded terraces, and 2 white sand beaches, plus buggies on demand to take you anywhere within the property, I'm wasting no time in rediscovering what's new since reopening.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Frankly, I was expecting a lot more changes to the property, adjustments to the pandemic, but they're really hard to notice unless you look very closely, except of course for more of these around the property, and more of these face masks and face shields, which are required in public areas. A lot of the other changes are more subtle and less obtrusive. Of course, you still have the traditional concierge, guest services, checkout, but now you also have the option to do everything contactless through digital apps. Checking out, for example, is as easy as just leaving your card here.
Well, I think by keeping the distance, we're actually showing our guests that there's a deep care and a deep belonging because we want to protect them and we protect our teams. We have certain measures in place, reviewed all the seating arrangements in the restaurants, for example, reviewed the layout of the health and fitness club to ensure that there is enough distance between our guests, between everybody. At the same time, we have some acrylic boards in the front desks, sanitizing mats, temperature checks. We encourage people to use online technologies with QR-coded menus. We got contactless check-in that you can do now. You can do online check-in as well.
But of course, there's always the option to do it the old way.
Yes, absolutely. And we encourage our guests to try them out. But at the same time, we also fully realize that as hoteliers, we have that human connection that's why we became hoteliers, because that's what we like, and we want to make sure that remains as well. And I think that's very important in the hospitality industry, to make sure that human connection doesn't get lost.
Other than checking in, mealtime is one of those other experiences that was redesigned carefully. The resort's famously sprawling buffet has been replaced by a la carte meals. And for now, the only outdoor dining option open to guests is a poolside shallow restaurant, where a digital app augments a traditional menu and service.
The reason why these health protocols are rather unobtrusive at the resort is because a lot of it is now digital, contactless. Example, ordering your lunch. I just have to scan the QR code over here, the menu comes out, I pick what I'm ordering, that goes into the kitchen system, and the lunch comes to you. It's that simple, without having to have any contact with the staff.
No.
Thank you.
And once you're confident about your safety, that's the moment you stop being overly cautious and begin to truly enjoy your stay here. Soon enough, you adjust without realizing it. And your mind and body start to drift to pleasant memories of the Shangri-La Resort and of Boracay before the pandemic changed everything.
I never realized the feeling of seawater on your toes would feel this good. It feels so good. And after being cooped up at home for so long because of the pandemic, this is like liberation. This is freedom. This is paradise.
In the past, even when fully booked, the resort never felt crowded because of all the space within. But with travel restrictions keeping guests to a minimum, I don't recall seeing the beach at sunset this empty and peaceful.
This is my favorite time of day, and this cocktail only makes it better. It gets really quiet after sunset, and that's why it's also one of the best times to get a massage. I know what you're thinking, a massage in the time of COVID, doesn't that sound dangerous? Well, apparently the world-famous cheese spa of the Shangri-La has found a safe way of doing it. Let's find out how.
I like to say that no visit to the Shangri-La Boracay is complete without a massage at the award-winning cheese spa. Lucky for me, the local government allowed spas on the island to reopen, although with very strict restrictions.
Well, the first thing is the cheese spa is only open on request. That's the first way to make it safe for the guests.
Therapies have been shortened to an hour, and those too close for comfort like facials have been dropped entirely.
after filling out, well, yet another health declaration form, you're required to take a shower. Remember, you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting the therapist as well.
The therapists aren't just tested frequently, but because they're exclusive to the Chi Spa, they're monitored properly. Just to be safe, guests are required to wear masks and lie face down throughout the session. It's not what I'm used to, but I can't complain.
It's not just flying I miss or traveling that I miss, but also a proper massage. I haven't had one in 8 months.
While I was out having my massage, executive sous chef Alain Rion and his team were busy transforming the poolside terrace of my villa into a private dining dream.
Well, I'm really hungry. Thank you. Okay. Grilled prawn. Fantastic. Yes, one of the popular dining options here at the resort is their unique private dining experience, which, as the name implies, means you can have your dinner at the beach or at the garden, or in my case, in my villa. Now, in a time like this where people are more conscious about health and safety and distance, this has become such a valuable option. And the food's great too.
On-site cooking is always a good thing. Dishes a la minute means enjoying each one prepared tableside by the chef himself. A sumptuous fresh grilled multi-course meal that starts with prawns, then a chicken salad, and finally filet mignon for the main dish. And thanks to filming all day, there's still room in my tummy for dessert. With occupancy rates managed carefully and distancing policies in place, nighttime at the resort is exceptionally quiet these days. A stark contrast to our last memories at the Shangri-La last year, with fancy wine dinners on the grounds and lively beach parties on the shore. For a taste of the island's legendary nightlife, we're trying our luck in Station 2 instead, where some bars and restaurants have started to reopen.
I guess I can remove this since I don't see a soul in sight, which is hard to believe because it's 8:30 at night on a Friday night, that is, and we're here in Station 2 of Boracay, also known as Party Central. Frankly, it feels more like a ghost town. So let's check on how some of the resorts and establishments are doing and coping.
It's a bit eerie, really. All these popular joints, either empty or closed entirely. While most establishments still wait to see if more tourists will arrive for the holidays before reopening, a few have remained open ever since.
Finally, a well-lit establishment. And one of my favorites in this part of the island, it's Coast. And it's like an oasis amidst all this darkness. Randy, it's good to see you again. Gosh.
Coast's GM recalls the months under quarantine, serving only the few guests who were stranded. Occupancy is starting to pick up, but still slow. However, with little else open at night, their outdoor restaurant and bar is doing better than expected.
Describe the nightlife right now. If I were to come here, plan a trip to Boracay, and I'm looking for the usual nightlife, let's do a reality check.
Yeah.
What should they expect?
Well, definitely it's not the same. This is a different face of Boracay now. But there's pros and
It
cons.
was already happening last year because of the new restrictions, right? On
yes,
partying,
yes.
on the island, on the beach. But now it's even more
Yes.
restrictive.
But this time it's totally different. Well, first and foremost, there's a curfew already. So by 11 p.m.
Unthinkable for Boracay,
yes,
right?
definitely. And it's known for a party island, right? But it's slowly changing its face, so it's more family oriented. But going back to the nightlife, there is still people a little bit of drinking during sunset, and then come in going dinner, and come 9 o'clock, they go back to their hotels and sleep. The island is now peaceful.
In a way, the pandemic has helped achieve the original objective of the first closure of Boracay in 2018, to allow the island more time to heal from decades of abuse, and reorient tourism towards a healthier and more sustainable future. In the second part of our Boracay series next week, we check how other luxury properties are adjusting to the new normal and see how the world-famous White Beach has returned to a state of calm and purity unseen since the 1980s.
And that's all for this episode of Executive Class. In Boracay, I'm David Saltran. Thanks for watching.